What is going on, YouTube? My name is Otto Von Clutch, alongside my co-host, as always, Tombstone Jesus.
What's going on, Tombstoners? Thanks for tuning in.
That is right, guys. And we are going to be talking today about UFC 300. This past Saturday, UFC 300 broke records. It was the third largest grossing UFC event. The gate was $16.7 million in ticket sales. That's not including the pay-per-view. We had the BMF title on the line. Tombstone Jesus, this is his passion. He loves UFC. So we are going to discuss it, guys. Tombstone Jesus, break it down for us, man.
Bro. Let me tell you, brother, it was so good. First of all, let me set the stage just a little bit for you, my man. So you can't really compare UFC 300 to like WrestleMania.
Gotcha.
And the reason why it's so much bigger than that is because it's basically like a WrestleMania you'd have every 10 years, every decade. So every pay-per-view, every month they have a pay-per-view. So you got 12 a year, so you're looking like 8.5, 9 years before 100 come around. Another 8.5, 9 years before 200 come around, and then we just had 300. So we knew it was coming up. We knew it was big, and they've been announcing some of the fights for some of the last 6 months.
Bro, and so in the very early stages of UFC, they only would do like 5 shows a year, correct? In the early stuff, huh?
Yeah, in the early stuff, and even in the very early stuff, I think it was only like 1 a year before it actually came a sport. Like the UFC 1, 2, the first couple 2, 3, I seen them all. They didn't have weight classes, bro. They didn't have time limits. It was like a boxer came out. It was like a video game. It was like a blood sport movie. They had like a sumo wrestler taking on a karate guy.
Right.
The dude who won the whole thing, I think, weighed 170, 180 pounds, Hoist Gracie. And he, and no time limits and stuff. I think the only rules was like no eye gouge and no fish looks. I think ball shots were legal.
In the early stages of UFC, you were able to hit
it was nuts. It was like the movie Bloodsport. It was like they brought in all the different kind of martial arts, representing, say, karate. All the different types of battle were represented. And right off the bat, jiu-jitsu just dominated. And so say, and I don't even know if they count that as UFC 1, honestly. I'm curious where the counting actually starts. But the point is, it's such a big ass deal because, again, it's like a WrestleMania, but it's once every 10 years. So the card, the pay-per-view that you ordered, that's the main card. They have prelims, and then they have early prelims, and those are usually like on ESPN Plus for free. Sometimes they're on ESPN. Those could have been pay-per-views on their own, and they were just phenomenal. So the prelims, the early prelims, the fights, all the hype that built up, it lived up to every bit of it. It was just awesome, bro.
I know, and those highlights for that BMF title, man, that knockout was just extreme.
Hey, I'll go through them right now, like if you're cool with it, Otto.
Let's do it, man. Shoot for it.
The very first fight was we're just talking main card. This is the main card. So 5 fights, I believe. The first fight was kind of the only head scratcher from day one when they announced it, because they had a guy who's an up-and-comer. He's like one of the best collegiate wrestlers ever. His name's Bo Nichols. And he's so good at coming out of wrestling that there's a good chance this guy will be a champ soon. Who knows? But anyways, they had him fight another guy. Neither of them were ranked. And the Bo Nichols, he took the dude out in the second round. He handled him. But he was disappointed, because this guy was like a 2,100 favorite, odd-wise. You bet $21, you win $1 if you bet on that dude. That's how big a favorite he was. Just huge. So he won like everyone thought he would, but really not as good as he thought. He got up, dude was real humble, said he was disappointed with his performance. Still an honor to be there. Still kind of a head scratcher. Next fight was Charles Oliveira. He's a dude who used to be the 155 champion, and there's a up and comer racing to the top right now, and he was kind of going to be the gatekeeper for this guy. It was a really close fight. It was a split decision. The up and comer took it. No one got robbed. It was just it was one of those fights. It was 3 rounds, and you wished it would have gone 5. You know what I mean? So, but still, great fight, great fight. So now the third fight in is the BMF. Baddest motherfucker. Okay. Now the history, they came up with this belt. It was, I believe, Nate Diaz's idea. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Diaz brothers.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I'm not surprised, motherfucker. Dude's awesome. Badass. And Jorge George Masvidal, Jorge, they had the first fight for the title that they came up with. And at the time, those guys were fighting at 170. And so they decided these 2 badasses will be the ones to fight for this title. So this is separate from any other title. It's like a gimmick title.
No, it's not a gimmick title. Dana White got pissed off at the press conference. I was watching it today because someone said that. And he's like, no, it's not a gimmick. This is no gimmick. You know what I mean? But continue.
You know what I'm saying when I say gimmick title, but no, I mean, it holds tons of weight. So anyways, you don't even get a fight for this title unless you're considered a complete badass. You know, when Jorge held the title, he fought for the other belt and lost, but the BMF title wasn't on the line. You know what I mean? So he ends up retiring, and they have Justin Gaethje and Dennis Poirier, 2 badass MF mother effers from the 155 pounds. They went at it, and Gaethje knocked him out with the head kick. It was sick. So he's the new champ. He's the BMF guy now. He's held the belt for the one fight he wanted. They throw it up against this other cat named Max Holloway. Dude's from Hawaii, and he used to be the champion in the 145. So he stepped up to 155, but no one doubts he's a badass, okay? The stage is set. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I was at I watched it with my buddy from basically first grade.
Oh,
I don't want to get off track on this. So now the stage is set. The BMF title is on the line. Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje slug it out, bro, for 5 rounds. And Gaethje took a couple eye pokes kind of early in the fight. It was a slam bammer. Holloway was getting the better of it, you know, but these guys are just fighting their guts out. Just amazing fight. Gets to the end of the 5th round. There's literally like 10 seconds left, and they're just beating the shit out of each other. And Holloway points to the middle of the ring, standing right there. And this is what was impressive, is because lots of times when someone's dominated a fight like that, when there's 10 minutes left, they raise their hands and run around the ring. You know what I mean? Why would they risk getting knocked out? Not for the BMF title, man. So dude points in the middle of the ring. Those 2 square up and just start going ape shit on each other. 2 seconds left. Holloway cracks him, and Gaethje goes down face first. I think you saw the highlight. 1 second left. Face hits the ground. KO. Baddest ass fight I've ever seen, as far as I'm concerned. It was amazing. I had a hard time sleeping Saturday night, bro. You'd think we'd been wrestling. I mean, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, we got 2 more fights after that. You know, everybody's just like numb.
Yeah, and Dana said that basically it was like an adrenaline dump. Basically, after that match, the arena was kind of sucked up. You know, they didn't have a lot of, they weren't as loud as that match possibly should have been the main event.
Well, luckily the main event was pretty badass too.
Okay.
But yeah, after any fight like that, I mean, that'd be like I mean,
It's like Undertaker
that'd be
having a
like
match.
Barry Manilow having Ted Nugent open up for him or something. You know what I mean? The opening act would have just took all the energy out of the room, and then, you know, Barry Manilow is going to come out and people are going to fall asleep. Well, it was just on that level. It didn't matter. And so it did took a little energy out, but luckily the next fight was for the women's championship at 115 pounds. The champion, Waylene, I believe is how they say her name, and against the challenger, and I think her last name was Xiaolong. Amazing fight. I think it was the end of the second or third round. The one gal the champ had the gal like choked out. She got saved by the bell. And she got up, and dude, you saw her do one of these head rushes like you think you and me just hit an 8-foot bong or something. I mean, she was just like falling over, caught herself, you know, and they're like, whoa, she was out. She was out. But saved by the bell, right? Ended up fighting all the way to the end. The champ retained the title. Well-deserved, you know, but another great fight, you know. So now the energy's back in the room, and we got the main event. And the main event, it did not disappoint, okay? It didn't go very long, but it was awesome. So let me set the stage. Let me tell you the little backstory on this, bro.
Talk to us.
That's the 205 belt, 205 pounders. These guys are like our size and bigger, and they cut down to 205, you know, on fight day. These dudes hit hard. One of my favorite weight classes. And it was about a year ago, this dude named Jamal Hill beat Glover Teixeira for the belt. He won the belt. And I think it was like a week later, he tears his Achilles playing basketball. And it takes like a year, I think they're saying, to recover from a torn Achilles. And so he's out. He's out for such a length that they had to vacate the belt. Okay, so the belt's vacated. There's no interim belt. They have two guys go at it. And the dude who holds the belt now took on, Jiri Prohaska is how you say his name. And Alex Pereira, he beat him and he got the belt. So he's the new 205 champ. This guy's amazing kickboxer. And he's done nothing but dominate since he's came here. He was a 185 champ, and now he's the 205. And let me tell you, dude, this guy weighed in at 205 Friday night.
Yeah.
He posted a video of him standing on the scale Saturday morning weighing 232. He put on 25 pounds.
Las Vegas has the world's best buffets. We know that. We do have a couple comments here. We have Scotty Stoner. Sup, fellas?
Yo.
You guys haven't checked out the episode of the Stoner Brothers, you ought to know. Go to the archives. Scotty is saying, Tombstone, burn tree. Burn tree, Tombstone.
I'm on it, buddy. I'm on it.
And then, of course, we have Kelly. Thank you so much for commenting on YouTube. Tombstone's friend, Brent, had a crazy fun watch party. That's awesome, guys. Tombstone. So this, I mean, was one of the biggest UFC events ever then, huh?
Yeah. And I mean, and by far it was the biggest UFC event ever. And it really, really held up to all the hype, like beyond. So now we got, like to say, the guy who got his Achilles torn, he's back, Jamal Hill. Technically hasn't even lost the belt, right? He had to give it up. This guy'd been knocking everybody out, and he's going up against the Alex Pereira dude, who's same thing, been knocking everybody out. That guy gained 25 pounds in one night. He's huge. And fight week starts the beginning of last week, and Jamal Hill decides to play a little mind games with the other fighter, the champ. So he comes and asks him for an autograph early in the week, and then during the press conference, he kind of pulls some shit and talks some shit and tried to get under the dude's skin, and he kind of did a little. So now here comes the fight. Round one's going on. I'd have to look. I don't know if it went a full half a round, but these guys are piecing each other up a little. following each other around, kind of measuring each other. Pereira's like stabbing the body here and there, and the dude kicks him in the nuts, right? The Jamal Hill ends up giving him a nut shot, and the ref steps in and tries to stop it. And it was one of the baddest things I've ever seen, dude. But that Pereira dude just went like this to the ref and took 3 more steps and knocked that dude out, man, with the freaking left uppercut hook. Got on top of him, finished pounding him off, and that's when he got up and you see him doing the there you go, you know. And it was amazing, man. It was. Like I say, I'm still pumped up from it. And I think UFC 400 is going to be in like 2032 or something.
Gotta love it, dude. Really? 2032 is when UFC 400 will happen?
I think so. If you do the math, you know, like I say, you got 12 a year. So 8 years would be like 96, right? So really like 8.5 years almost. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's going to be 2032.
Well, that is awesome, man. Well, that's basically the review, guys, right there of UFC 300. And what an amazing event it was. And thank you guys for joining us on this. We'll be back at you guys on Facebook. And Tombstone Jesus, any last words, my man?
Oh shit, dude, we got Raws coming on pretty soon, so I'm sure you got another Dark Side review coming up as well, don't you?
Yeah, tomorrow me and Amber will be doing some Dark Side talk, and then yeah, dude, absolutely. And then there was that CM Punk scaffold earlier this week. That was kind of MMA related, so I think we could kind of brief on that real quick. But
I'll tell you, the curtain between MMA and wrestling is getting a little fuzzy, you know. I mean, when I saw how they all come down off the MMA show on ESPN or whatever, it just cracked me up. I mean, it's fun. I love it, but it's kind of getting weird.
I know it, dude. It sure is, bro. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As always, this is a You Oughta Know episode 26, little UFC edition. Yabra Kadabra. Thank you guys all for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Talk to you